Hello, my name's Kim Fee and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in the UK. Today I'd like to share with you a card I made for my dad using the Whiskey Business stamp set, and it's a stand-up sort of pop-up box card. It's a bit difficult showing while it's flat, so I'll just show you that bit there. And it folds flat to go into, depending on whether you come over the top or not, it folds flat to go into a C6 envelope, or you could then fold it that way, and depending if you've got your decoration sort of within there, it'll go in a 4x4. I sent mine in a DL because of this, and it went down a treat. So this is the stamp set that's in the new annual catalogue, and it's £18. It has 9 stamps in it, and they're clear mount stamps. So shall I get going now and show you how easy this really is to make? So you'll need an A4 sheet of paper or card and a paper cutter. And what we're going to do is we need a sheet that measures 20 centimetres by 21 centimetres. I'm not sure what that is in inches. Let's have a look. So that's 8 1/4 inches. By 7 7/8. So if you're doing inches. So the A4 is already 21. So we're going to be turning it round, and we'll just pop it into the cutter and cut at 20. Oh, I must move that pen out of the way. I've just drawn on it. That's it. Never mind. Okay, so now what we want to do is on the 21 centimetre side, so we're turning it round again on the 21 centimetre side, we're going to be scoring at 5 centimetre increments. So we're going to be wanting to score at 5. And I'm using thick Whisper White here. And we're going to take it through to 10. And scoring again. I'm going to take it through to 15. And score again. And then we're going to take it to 20. And score again. So these measurements will be on my blog, www.simplyfairies.co.uk. There'll be a link in the bottom there. Now I'm going to turn it round to the 20 centimetre side, and we're going to be cutting at 5 centimetre increments, but we're only going to be cutting 2 lots. So we're going to be doing one at 5. And then a second one, take it along to the 5 centimetres, and then that's going to leave us with 10. So you should have 2 small pieces and a larger piece. So let's get this out of the way. I'm just going to pull my chair in, so excuse the noise. Okay, so when you get to this point, you really want to burnish your scorings quite sharply. And then that way it will bounce up nicely. That's your little tab. And we're going to do the same again. For these. made several of these cards, in fact, so I will show them again on my blog because I've taken photographs. So I've made several for birthday cards and things. I've used the bee papers that we had in Celebration. I used the medley, botanical medley. That was really lovely. All the lovely bright yellows and the blues. So this one, I'm going to be using the new papers. I'll put a link down in the box below, because I forgot to write down what papers they were, what they were called, because they're new and I've taken them out of the packet, so I don't have the packet to see what it's called. Never mind. Right, so what we're wanting to do is I've pre-cut some cardstock and the brass foil. So the foil here I've cut at 4.5 square and I've cut 6. And then the papers that go on top, I've cut 6 again and I've cut them at 4 square. And then inside at the bottom there and just in the top bit there, that's cut again from the same paper pack, and I've cut 6 and I've cut them at 4.5, the same as the brass there. Okay, so where you're placing them, this bit here, the smaller one, you want to do that. Okay, that goes there. You can either put it inside or you can put it outside, and then you can layer on something to write on. That's entirely up to you. Let's lay that flat and do that. So when that stands up there, that then goes like that, and that gets put on there. So you want to know that they're tabbed that way. You turn it over. And you're going to be wanting to put your papers there and there. So that's where we're going to glue those. So I'm using a Tombow. So I like to use the Tombow. It gives a little wiggle room if I haven't stuck it down straight. So you're going to want to do them on both of the small pieces. Okay. It's quite lovely paper. Very neutral. Whoops, that nearly went skew with. And I promise you, it really, really is quite easy. And it's great because it only uses the one sheet of paper card. Okay, so that's those there. So now I want to put the foil and the towel looking one. It's great paper. So just be careful when you're doing your papers if it's directional, because what you don't want to do is have going that way and that way, because they're going to be sitting together when the card is closed. So you need them to go the same way, in the same direction. And my dad really loved it. He loves interactive cards and pop-up 3D cards. Oh, nearly done it wrong the way. And he was quite fascinated by how it was made. Yeah. Oh, that will teach me I should go to the edge. And I've knocked that one, haven't I? So push them to one side. And while I'm here, I might as well just quickly put these together. So you can decorate them however you like. I did butterflies on some, flowers on others, and the whiskey on this one. I'm going to move those two up there because they're not dry yet. Okay, so this one's going to go at the back there. So you want to put these two where the tab is, okay? And it's easier to do it before you attach these smaller ones to the bigger one. The first time I did it, I put it all together and then decorated it, and it was a bit fiddly, a bit too fiddly. I'll just make sure that you've got equal as much as you can border around. So that's that for the moment. We'll put them over there to seal off and dry. Now this one, we're going to want to put one there and one there. So we'll open it up and put this one here. That's even a nice design at the back there, isn't it? That's going to go there. And the other one is going to go right to the opposite, because it's going to be going like this, and you're going to be seeing it from that way. now we're going to close it and just put a small strip of your chosen adhesive. I need to clean my bone folder. Okay, so can you see there? I know it doesn't look too good at the back there, but I mean, by the time you've put something over there and you've put your greeting on it, whoever gets it is just going to be fascinated by the front, not the back. So now I'm going to put these together. So the tab, so you're going to lay your gold bits to the front, pull that over and just so you've got a cube, like the children's building blocks really, I suppose. So the card blank itself is nearly done. I think the decoration is going to take the longest. Okay. They're going to want to be put on there. So what you don't want to be doing it too when you put the first one on. Make sure it's the other side of that, and I found it easiest to just bend it over like this. So this card I saw on a French demos blog, and I can't remember the name of that one. I'll try and find it and put it in my blog. And I did a Zoom get together with some of my team, and Rebecca from Cat Knit Crafting, Rebecca Wilmore, she did a little session with us and had to make this, and I haven't stopped making them since. So I've just put that there, and I'm going to make sure that I go as close to the bottom edge as I can, and as close to the score line as I can. Okay, you will be slightly over, but you know, oh, sorry. We wouldn't worry about that. Nothing's perfect. Okay, so once again, we're going to butt up there and make sure that you're as close to the bottom edge as this as you possibly can. You can turn it up and sit it down so that it does do that. That's it. I'm going to pull up. I've got in a bit of a pickle mess with the glue. Let's get this wipe and see if I can. Okay, we're nearly there with the card blank. I need to get glue adhesive of that. That's it. So now we need to put these ones on as well. So remember to put them the right way. You don't want to do that so that when it closes it looks odd. So once again I'm going to be lining it up from the top score line to the edge. From the top score line to the edge. So that's most of it done. And it sits quite nicely. Now the next thing I'm going to do is punch some circles. So I want 2 for here and 2 for here. Any size circle punch will be fine, or circle die, whatever you've got going. And we're just going to fold them in half, and they're going to be acting like wings basically. Like that. And if I bring in the sample one, if you look here and here, that's what is standing up on, and also the sentiment is standing up on. So we just want to sharply burnish that. Okay, and I'm going to put them on now actually, rather than wait. So just a bit of glue, wet glue there, will be fine. And we're going to butt it right up against the, not over it, but the inside of the score line, just inside. And then you want another one, so they're scored into half moon shapes, and 2 together makes a moon. You're going to be that side. Hold it there for a little while. Now the trickier bit is the inside. So I found it easier to fold it over this way. And do that. So you've got the tall one just flat, and then the smaller ones like that. And then you just turn it over and do the same for the other side. But make sure that you're getting the half moon making the full moon, so to speak. So they're like that. So while they're drying, let's get and make our whiskey decanter and glass of whiskey. So if I bring this one back in again, you'll see that it's quite shiny, and this is really, really simple to do. All you need is some clear embossing powder and a heat gun. So we'll stamp our images first and then we'll colour. So I'm using Memento ink because I'm colouring with blends, but you can use ink pads or re-inkers and then use our blender pen to colour them in rather than watercolour them. So it really is a lovely set. I look forward to making more of these. So let's bring in the colours that I used. So I used light so saffron, dark mellow mango melody, and light mango melody, and our new colour, cinnamon cider. So when I made my dad's card, I didn't actually have the cinnamon cider blend with me, so I just used the ink pad, and then I used our blender pens that you get 3 pens in a pack. And I was sure that I had one here. Oh yes, I have put it in here. So I just used one of these, and then I took the ink onto a block and then took that there and just blended in right over the top of the blends, so you can use them together because I have done that. So let's start with the light. So I'm going to come around in circular motion like this. I'm not going to cover all of the ice cube because obviously that would need to be clear. So I'm leaving white bits, and I'm leaving those on purpose, and I'm going to go around again, around the edges, and taking the darker bits to use as the shadows. So take advantage of that. So I'm not covering all of what I've covered underneath. Then I'm going to use the cinnamon cider light, and I'm going to basically go where the black markings are. So that's where it's darkest, the shades. Then I'm going to come in with the darker one. I'm not fussed about getting bits where I shouldn't really. I'm going to come back with the So Saffron. I'm just going to blend it a little. I'm going to come back with the light cinnamon cider. Try and take the harsh bits away. This is the light mango melody. And it's blending in there. Blending it nicely. Now I'm going to use Pool Party, light Pool Party, because whenever there's something that's white or see-through, I like to use Pool Party or the very, very light grey, slate grey, just to go around the edges to accentuate the white. Do it on the ice cube as well, because obviously that's clear as well, it should be. And that's it. How quick was that to colour in? So now we're going to quickly fussy cut it, because it hasn't got any dies with it, but you know, you don't really need dies for this. It's quite straight edges, it doesn't take long. Easy to cut. I always like to leave a white border around, makes it pop, I feel, and also that you haven't got to worry about if you've cut a little bit off because you've not actually gone too near. That's it. Let's get rid of that. Okay. And here's where the fun begins. So let's bring in our clear embossing powder. Versamark. Let's switch on the heat gun. And what we're going to do is we're going to double emboss. So that's, you take your glass and dab it in there so that you get your Versamark all over it. Get some tweezers, it'd be easier to do. And then you just pop it into your clear embossing. And then you take your heat gun. So excuse the noise. Let's move that out of the way. And we just heat. So I'm going to do it from behind. I find it easier to do it from behind. And you'll see that it will start to glassy over. There you go. So that's nice in itself. It's quite shiny and glossy, but we're going to leave that there to dry. And we're going to do the same again for our decanter. And I'm not going to worry too much about the ink coming off from the blends, because that's never going to be going on any of your other projects. it won't come off and contaminate anything else. So let's put that again into our pot. Just tap the excess off, and we're going to heat that. You just keep it about, say maybe 2 inches away from your cardstock. This way, when you do it from underneath, you can see where it's hit and where it's not. There you go, so that's that. Now that's quite glossy in itself, so I could leave it just like that, but I'm going to show you the double embossing anyway. So all you do is you bring it back in your versary and then you press onto it again. Throw it back in for some embossing powder. And heat gun it again. Heat set it, I should say. So that gives it a double thick layer. It's quite a cool technique, don't you think? Look how glassy that's looking. Really shiny. Really shiny. Pleased with that. Don't be touching it with your fingers because your fingers might just melt on the thing. So let's take that back in. Take it into our embossing. Oh, there's a dimensional in there. To tap the excess off. And it's catching again. Oh, it's lovely and glossy. Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Oh, I'm going to poke it back in there. You can see where I've dropped it on there. But you know, it can be fixed. Get my other tweezers. There's a little green piece of card in there. We're not going to be worrying about making mistakes. We all make mistakes. And we just need to be careful. That's it. That's all hard there now. Not happy with the bottom bit, so I'm just going to let that cool a little bit more. And I'm just going to do the little bit there where it's kinked, because that will annoy me. That's it. I don't want to burn my fingers, so I'm going to keep that there. That's better. There we go. And now what's only left to do is to add that and add our sentiment. Just going to wipe this a little bit. Okay. So now, the sentiment I'm going to use, even though I've given my dad's his, I do quite like this, so I'm going to stick with this sentiment. And I like to stamp the sentiment and then punch out, because then you're not worried about if you get it crooked or in the wrong place. So this punch is the tailored tag punch, and it carried over from the last annual. Okay, so we're going to bring in our card now, and we're going to lay this on there. And what I do is the 2 points, I try and this is where it's going to get fiddly. I'm going to try and match up with the score line. So it's best to do one side first and then the other. So but I'm going to glue both sides. So if I just lay that there and keep my finger on there, just so that the glue takes. Just there you go. I'm just going to press that down there like that there. And hopefully it will be in the right place. Yeah, we've got it right there. Now these two up here, I just took some mini dimensionals and I popped them all over. To either side. That's it. And I'm just going to curl round, gives it a little bit more dimension. And I'm not going to do it straight, I'm just going to do it at an angle. And then I'm going to take this bit here and I'm going to just add one more dimensional to the decanter. And the same again, I'm just going to use my finger and thumb, and the heat from your finger and thumb should curl it a little bit more. And then I'm going to do that at an angle there. Oh wow. That is truly a wow card. And you too can make this card. It's so simple when you know how. There you go. So it can go in a DL, into 4x4. Obviously, if you've not gone straight over there with that bit, or just a C6. And then you can write on the back. So what you could do is you could cover the back here with some DSP if you wanted to, and then do the little moon shapes there and have another tailored tag there. But you know, you could just write on there. Perfect. Absolutely fabulous. Well, I hope you give it a go. If you're interested in buying any of the products that I've shown today, I would love to have your business. You could click on the links below. There will be links that will take you straight into my shop. Pop onto my blog and have a closer look with the photographs, and I'll be showing the other cards that I've made as well using the bits and pieces before. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you join again. If you like what I'm making, please do subscribe, and then you'll be notified of all the videos that will be coming your way shortly. Thank you. Bye.